what will be the future of Abraham Accord? Do you think he would take certain steps, measures to finally introduce this Abraham Accord and revive this particular accord?
Yes, I think in the under Trump there is likely to be a fresh attempt to revive the Abraham Accords. The world is now witnessing U.S. intention to take over Gaza. The American approach on this matter is in total disregard of the rights of the Palestinian people and their claim to their own territory.
Do you think United Nations system, General Assembly, UN Security Council in this situation is still relevant and can be still effective in playing any role?
The world will have to wait and see how effective the United Nations can be in this regard.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and welcome to program Insight in V News English. Dear viewers, the statement made by United States President Donald Trump that America will take over Gaza, that statement has been denounced by a number of countries around the world, particularly the Muslim world. Saudi Arabia has strongly reacted. Then Organization of Islamic Conference also rejected this statement. People of Palestine strongly reacted to that statement. And finally, Pakistan has also rejected this proposal and said Palestinian land belongs to Palestinians. In today's discussion, we will discuss various aspects of this proposal, including what would be the future of Gaza after this particular announcement, particularly mentioning that the US proposal has been completely endorsed by Israel. Whether this proposal is workable and how different world powers would be definitely reacting to this particular proposal. What is the future of Gaza? What is the future of Palestine? To discuss this all, we are fortunate to have with us former ambassador of Pakistan to Jordan, Mr. Sarwar Naqvi, who is also expert on Middle East and keep a strong eye on evolving situation in Gaza, in Palestine, and in Middle East. Ambassador Sarwar Naqvi, sir, very warm welcome to program Insight in V News English. I would just begin with this, that most of the things have already been said. The statement of the US president has made headlines around the world that United States will take over Gaza. So the question is now, after this particular statement and the decision, which is extraordinary, how you see the future of Gaza?
Well, you see, it's a pleasure to be on your program. Thank you for inviting me. The statement of Donald Trump should be seen against the background of many preposterous statements that he has made in the last couple of weeks. Regarding Greenland, regarding Canada, regarding Mexico. And in all these references, he has said certain things which are totally against the norms of international law, international relations, and bilateral interaction. So now he has come up with a statement that the United States will take over Gaza. He said this in a joint press conference with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu
in Washington.
In Washington. Now,
exactly.
The cause of this such a statement must be his discussions with Netanyahu, who has always maintained that the people of Gaza must be shifted to some other countries, some other areas. In fact, in the mad campaign of bombing and killing that Netanyahu has been indulging in. He has moved the population of Gaza from the north to the south, and then again from the south to the north. And he has played along with the lives of the people of Palestine, the men, women, and children who have been killed and maimed and reduced totally incapable of dealing with their daily life, their health, education, everything has suffered. So I think this is a sad moment that the world is now witnessing U.S. intention to take over Gaza. The American approach on this matter is in total disregard of the rights of the Palestinian people and their claim to their own territory, which is a basic fundamental human right under the UN Charter as well as various UN conventions on human rights. So it looks like he is going to violate all these principles. So in that case, he will be taking action to dislodge the population. Number one, dislodge the population of Palestinian population from Gaza, and number two, to take over the territory. Yesterday, the Palestinian leader in Ramallah, Mr. Mustafa Barghouti, was on television, I think on CNN, and he was saying that the American president and the administration, as well as the Israeli government, will not even imagine the kind of resistance that will be posed by the people of Palestine on this move. The Palestinian people have proved their resilience over 15 months of bombing, that they can still hold their own and they can fight for their independent existence. So I think that the action of the United States would result in a greater tragedy than has been the case till now. But the other aspect of it is that the Palestinian people will defy whatever plans Mr. Trump and Mr. Netanyahu might have. And this proves that despite all their might and power, 79,000 tons of bombs have been already thrown on the territory of Gaza. So despite all the might and power, and despite all the armament that they have used against the Palestinian, the totally unarmed and innocent ordinary citizens of that territory, the Americans have not been able to, the Israelis have not been able to subdue the Palestinians. So I think the future is very grim, because it would mean a struggle by the Palestinian people against American designs and against Israeli designs, and the situation might become such a bloodbath that the world has not seen so far.
Ambassador Naqvi, in this situation, all hopes and all eyes are on United Nations system. But Americans have already withdrawn from WHO. They have already withdrawn from Paris Agreement. So do you think United Nations system, General Assembly, UN Security Council, in this situation is still relevant and can be still effective in playing any role in resolving this particular conflict and preventing Americans from taking over Gaza?
Well, yes, theoretically, it is possible for the United Nations to deal with it. Under Chapter 7, if a particular territory or area is under threat by an aggressor, then the United Nations machinery will come into action, and that would mean mobilizing military force to fight the aggressor state. Now, that is theoretically that is the case. However, we all know that the United Nations itself is quite divided and has not been able to mobilize any military force so far. So I think the world will have to wait and see how effective the United Nations can be in this regard. But it is quite possible that the United Nations may not be able to fend off the American in designs against Gaza. And that would be a great pity. But it is something that the world will not be able to sleep with in good conscience, because the Palestinian people will prove their resistance and their defiance.
So, do you think the two-state formula is still applicable, still workable? Because this proposal that has come from U.S. President, it is completely in violation of this two-state formula. Because if Gaza is taken over, then it means that there will be no Palestinians. So please share with us, in this current situation, this two-state theory, two-state formula, that there has to be an independent Palestinian land, a country, and then there has to be Israel, and Israel has to accept that. So, future of two-state formula.
Yeah. Well, the most logical thing is to have the two-state established, two-state formula implemented, and the two states established. But again, it will depend upon what the Israelis and the Americans do. They may not accept the two-state formula, because they have moved away from that, though they accepted it in Oslo in 1990, and since then in many other, in Camp David in 1994. They have accepted the two-state formula, and they have professed support for it. But we know how the world is now shaping up. The American and Israeli desire to dominate the Middle East is predominant, and the Israelis want greater Israel, and they want all these areas to be taken over by them. The West Bank, Gaza, which they call Judea and Samaria. Now, you know, this is a situation where the international community has to act, and Pakistan is a country which has supported collective action in dealing with the Palestinian situation, and we support the two-state solution. We have always stood by the two-state principle. I think the immediate outlook is rather bleak, because the Americans are likely to pursue their objective. But as I said, the resistance of the Palestinian people is a factor that they have not taken account of. Because if the Palestinian people, they defy all odds, and they stand their ground, then there may come a time, if the Americans are insisting and continuing with their aggression, there may come a time when the international community will press upon the United States not to continue doing it. You see, in the meeting yesterday with Netanyahu, Trump was going to discuss phase 2 of the ceasefire agreement. And instead of talking about the phase 2 of the ceasefire agreement, he talked about takeover of Gaza. So Trump has defied and has made a mockery of all the reasonable solutions and approaches in regard to the Palestinian people. And that is very, very unfortunate. But I think Trump is even worse than Biden in supporting the Israeli people in their evil designs and in completely disregarding the rights of the Palestinian people.
Ambassador Naqvi, as you said, that Americans are determined to pursue their objectives. That means ultimately they will be taking over Gaza. On the other hand, the Hamas that has fought this war for 15 months against Israel has rejected this formula. So Israel and Americans, what do you think? To what extent they can go to evict this population of Gaza from Gaza? Do you fear another military offensive over there to displace Palestinians, or what will be the modus operandi of this relocation of Palestinians? Yes.
You see, Mr. Mateen, the real crunch will come from within the United States, because there have been massive protests earlier on regarding support for Israel. There was a movement for boycott of all Israeli products, and there has been a complete outrage at what the Israelis were doing to the Palestinians. So I think if the resistance is strong, and if the world sees the horrific images of, God forbid, the kind of suffering of the Palestinian people, then the American population itself may rise up and may force the government to stop this initiative of taking over Gaza. So that is one step. Then beyond that, that would not be the relief for the Palestinian people, but at least that would stop the atrocity against the people of Palestine, against the people of Gaza. And then there should be some international mechanism to deal with this problem and to try and find a solution. So I think this is probably one expectation that I have that would happen. So we have to wait and see how the situation evolves.
Ambassador Naqvi, since Trump has taken over from 20th of January 2025, what do you think under his this second term? What will be the future of Abraham Accord? Do you think he would take certain steps, measures to finally introduce this Abraham Accord and revive this particular accord? Do you see chances of revival of Abraham Accord?
Yes, I think in the under Trump there is likely to be a fresh attempt to revive the Abraham Accords. But the Abraham Accords, one of the key features of the Abraham Accords is the recognition of Israel by Saudi Arabia and other Arab states. And this is not likely, because Saudi Arabia has gone on record yesterday to say that they will not accept, they will not go for recognition.
Thank you so much, Ambassador retired Ali Sarwar Naqvi Saab, for sharing extremely informative analysis that what will be the future of Gaza after the announcement by the US President of taking over Gaza Valley. And you also spoke about the revival of Abraham Accord. And you said that Abraham Accord revival is not possible because Saudi Arabia is strongly opposing this. Saudi Arabia may not recognize Israel. Likewise, Pakistan is also not expected to recognize Israel. And same would be by the rest of the Muslim world. Thank you so much, Ambassador Ali Sarwar Naqvi Saab, once again. And dear viewers, till our next program, goodbye and Allah Hafiz from studios.